Fast and Furious in terms of your abilities. It transitions onto the football side of things as well. The speed's the speed. Hey, these two things marry pretty nicely. When did you start to dream about this type of life?
Well, I've always dreamed of about the NFL since I was like 6 or 7, and then of course growing up, getting to high school, getting those first college offers. That's kind of when it's like the dream gets you move on to that next step. Your dream is to play in the NFL ultimately, but you have to make those steps. So getting those deep college offers, just now I'm playing at the next level, being able to play, and then getting into college. I say going into, even though it was crazy, the whole COVID situation, going into my junior year, I kind of trained like I was going into the draft pretty much. So try to train in that way so I could go into my junior year and be able to do what I can and show what I can and showcase myself to the NFL, so where that I could come out that next year and get hopefully get drafted, which I was able to do, and then now I'm here.
When you got here, and you see so many familiar. I mean, it's like SEC light out there. There's so many SEC dudes on this roster. We tend to like, and it makes sense. It's the best conference in America. I think you say that pretty straightforward. It's been that for a while now. What was it like seeing guys that you had competed against, and now you're all wearing the same uniform?
It was kind of crazy, but also kind of funny. Like going against guys like Greedy, Grant, Richard LeCount. Like those are. Especially LeCount, like we used to go like back and forth on the field,
Did
just
you really?
talking, and now we're on the same team and like we're all supporting each other. And it's like there's no like bad blood between us, which is like the best thing is like you hear about stories about like people coming in and like having like kind of grudges, but we came in and kind of we all have a goal. We all want to be good and we all want to win, and so we all came together and it's kind of just like banded together kind of almost.
It's funny. People up here certainly are well aware of the Iron Bowl. Everybody's aware of the Iron Bowl and what that one means. But I don't know if people up here are aware of how much vitriol there is between Auburn and Georgia, too. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry, I believe. Is that
Yeah.
There's a lot of dislike between those. People up here, unless you look on a map, you don't realize how close Auburn is to the Georgia line, and there's a lot of dislike between those two programs as well.
Yeah, it goes really deep. Like there's some like honestly, probably for me, I probably hated Georgia more than I hate Alabama just because of I didn't grow up in Alabama. So that's mainly what it is. But yeah, like going into our motto was every year like you come to Auburn to beat Georgia, beat Alabama, and beat LSU.
Yeah.
And so those are our three rivals, and of course the three teams we play every year. So it's always, of course, it's great going against NFL talent in college, and then now being able to play with those guys, it's like it's kind of funny, but it's also like crazy still.
It doesn't make it. I'll be very frank with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think that you have to play those three teams every year, and then the expectation is to beat them all. Because if you think of the most talented teams in college football over the last decade, those four are always in the top 10, and those three that are your rivals you're talking about have won the national championships the last couple of years or played for them. So it's an absurd thing to think that is just an every year occurrence at a place like Auburn.
Yeah, but that's why we
That's
go.
it,
That's why
though,
we
right?
go there. That's why you go there. That's why you play in the SEC.
Yeah, that's it. That's funny. Saban did that a lot. I was down there a long, long time ago, and I remember at the time Florida State was a monster program. At that time, Miami was a monster program. But there was always this thing that they could sell in the SEC, and especially when Urban got to Florida, the NFLization of the SEC. Come here, we prepare you. You come here and you go to the league. And a lot of people say we've had Alabama guys in here. I remember when Mac was on the team. Obviously, we had him on here, and he thought, and this isn't. It's just a different way of doing things, that the work that was done at Alabama in terms of the practices and how hard they were so much significantly tougher than it is even in the NFL in terms of the meat grinder that the SEC is.
Yeah, like I'd say I'd agree with that, especially because you get into training camp. Like not that doesn't get hot here, but down in the SEC country it gets 90s, feeling like 100 degrees, just out there going hard, scrimmaging at the end of every week. But it's just as you do, it's all to prepare you for the season, all to prepare you for the next level. And then, of course, those four teams, they all have a pedigree of sending guys to the NFL. And it's just that's why you go to those teams. You want to play the best, you want to beat the best, and then you want to go to play with the best.
Well, you are among the best now when you're at this level. And that rookie season for you, what was it like for you? Burst on the scene in the opener, and then as the season went along, at what point did you feel totally comfortable? At what point did you feel like, I'm sure ultimate confidence, I got this, but at the same time, it's a big transition to go from where you were to what last year was.
So I'd say in terms of like confidence-wise, in terms of like the playbook and everything, I felt by week 1 I was pretty confident. Then I felt like I had a good game week 1. Of course, there were some things I wanted to chop up, but it's just kind of from week 2 on, I was dealing with like many like nagging injuries and like just things that like I'd never dealt with before. And pretty much every week was kind of a battle for me. My goal was ended up, instead of being my goal to like contribute and win for the team, my goal was to just make it to Sunday so I can play. And I think that's what kind of had my season go as like a roller coaster, up and down. But this year, I'm definitely looking way different. I'm hoping to being proactive and staying healthy and helping the team win.
You possess the skill set that this team desperately needs. I think we can all look at it and go, okay, you got Amari, you got some bigger bodied guys on the outside. Bell comes in, looks awfully impressive, but we need a dude to get deep. That's why you were drafted. That's the type of skill set that you have. You'll also will often hear that the biggest jump in a professional football player's career is between his first year and his second. Do you feel that happening for you as you're in the middle of it?
I definitely feel it happening, especially from where I even started this offseason, from where I ended last season. I felt so much better, whether that's because I'm more comfortable with the playbook or just because I just feel more confident and like showing that I can belong. And I think like especially going to now, like I'm going out on the 7-on-7 going against Denzel Ward, who's a Pro Bowler, Greg Newsome, who I'd say is
he will be
he will be Greedy Williams, who's a great corner. Just going against those guys and just being able to compete and like sometimes beating like going back and forth with them, like one play I win, one play they win. It's just like even just building some more and more confidence, and I definitely feel that jump coming.
Yeah, you can. It's funny watching you guys out here in OTAs and just seeing how it. Sometimes I find myself just marveling at the sheer amount of talent in the receiving core, and the secondary. To your point, is it sneakily got loaded. I don't know that anybody. We know how good Greg Newsome is. I think everyone's going to find out this year how good he is. But a healthy Greedy too, fully healthy, no harness. Like him being what he can be. So in terms of the iron sharpen irons approach, you're getting that out there.
Yeah, for sure. Like those guys, they push us everywhere, and we push them all the time. And it's just, again, it's great going against those guys. Like every rep, you're going against a great player, and it's just building and building and building. And the goal is to where if I can get to the point where if I can beat Denzel consistently, that means I could beat almost anyone consistently. Denzel's, I'd say, top 3 corner in this league.
Yeah, I think you probably have that right. What's it been like with Deshaun and as you guys are in this install process and starting to kind of put in the groundwork for what this offense is going to be? How has he acclimated himself in with the roster? What does the offense look like with him? What is it like just going through things with Deshaun at quarterback?
I mean, it's been great with him, so especially as a good down-to-earth guy. He wants us to come to him for help. And then I'd say like he's been very proactive, like trying to get to know everyone, trying to get everyone, see what everyone likes, see what everyone does. Then of course the Bahamas trip was like a good kind of way that I felt like the whole offense like came together, and
sure.
I think that was big for us, and I think that it's gonna show once the season starts that what that meant to us.
Do you so we got this week OTAs and then next week mandatory. You got any plans for it's short, that couple 6 weeks or whatever in between that and the start of camp? You going to get away? You going to do a vacation? You going to do anything?
Probably just take like a week off, whether if that's staying at home, going to theme parks. But
yeah,
after that week, I'm just going to get back at it and just hammer probably 4.5 weeks of just improving on getting ready for the season, doing some more speed work so I can unlock that next speed level that I know I have. And then just at the end of the day, catching, being able to catch the ball consistently no matter where it is.
You done Cedar Point, right?
Yeah, Cedar Point, I've done it probably like 4 times now.
Top 3.
Steel Vengeance, Maverick, and I would say Millennium Force.
So good. Yeah. That's it. That's a win. I mean, the place is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
definitely like, what, 15 that are ridiculous up there. Yeah, it's good. Very good. Good seeing you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Anthony Schwartz in studio with us here as we kick the show off on a Wednesday edition. Lots more to get to as well. You hear Coach Stefanski at the podium a little bit later on. We're off and running here. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Give you that bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. You can transform that current bathroom you have into a custom bath that'll feel like a spa. Let the Bath Authority make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler. If you need to do a tub-to-shower conversion, they can do that for you. They have acrylic tubs that insulate, actually keep the heat in. That's a bonus. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. It's where affordability meets quality here, guys. You call now, $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. The number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Tell them Beau sent you. Again, $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. The number again, 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Superior products with expert installers. They'll take care of you. I was mentioning off the top, and then we were lucky enough to have Anthony Schwartz here in studio. First time I've seen him here, it's obviously first. A lot of these guys, even the guys who've been here for a couple of years, first time we've seen him in studio after 2 years of pandemic. So great to see him here in studio. And I can tell you, and say this pretty confidently, and OZ said it as well, a little bit of a pay attention to the scores moment from the standpoint of they love him. They love what he brings. There's a reason that they haven't gone seeking, another wide receiver. It's because they believe in what Anthony Schwartz can be. And as I asked him, and he answered, he possesses what you need and what this offense needs. It's going to need somebody who can get deep and make safeties play an extra half yard back, make them think, make them game plan for. Schwartz has the ability to do that. So he's got it, and he's been impressive early. He's got a long way to go, got to stay healthy, all of those things. But he showed some of that in his very first game, and then as he mentioned, he was into some injuries and stuff. But certainly the potential is there for it.
100%. When he is healthy, you have to know where he is on the field.
Yeah.
Today at OTAs, he would come into the huddle, and immediately the defense would be chirping, "Hey, find him, know where he is." Like, you have to know where he is, and you can, as long as his body holds up and from a health standpoint, he is turning the corner and being healthy, you could use him in a Deebo Samuel role. I'm not saying he's Deebo Samuel, but you can use him in that role where you can hand the ball off to him. You could throw little short passes that he can take long ways.
Yeah.
I mean, in the open field, you're not going to catch him.
No, that's needed. I mean, that's what this offense needs right now. That needs a burner, and he has the skill set for that. That was nice. It was nice to be able to get to talk to him and get to know him a little bit here on the program. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. I mentioned off the top, right as Anthony was coming in, that Baker Mayfield has been excused from next week's mandatory minicamp. That is a mutual agreed upon decision from both Baker and the organization. I feel like we've been pretty straightforward with you here on the program about that. There was so much dialogue about him coming in, it's on both sides. The Rubicon has long been passed on that. We've crossed it. So there's that makes the most sense for everybody for that to be the case with Baker, and we'll see what happens from that point on. But in terms of him being at minicamp, that was never something that was going to happen from either side's perspective.
Yeah, I think cooler heads have prevailed, and the Browns are working to probably get him into a different situation. And I'm sure that Baker's camp is probably doing the same thing. They're trying to help facilitate that. So it might not happen right away. Like, it just might not. I mean, the market right now it's a tough market because everybody has their quarterback. Or so they think. So, but you're an injury away from a team needing someone.
It's a tough market, though, because you're talking about you got Bake, you've got Garoppolo. Those would the two guys that would be at the highest end of this. But there's others, too. I mean, I'm sure we'll do it around the league at some point today, and you saw the Cam Newton comments. He's certainly not on Baker or Garoppolo's level, but not anymore. But just from the standpoint of he doesn't have a job either. So it does feel like what has happened in the league is you either have a franchise quarterback, have recently drafted someone who you think will be a franchise quarterback, or you don't want one in the chance of putting yourself in position to draft a franchise quarterback.
Correct.
And so if you're one of these guys who kind of is or isn't or is on the fence whether they are or not, and that would be Baker and Jimmy Garoppolo, those are the two best examples of that, there really isn't a place for that player right now. There just isn't. I mean, if you think about the situation in Seattle, New Orleans, Atlanta. All of those are places where they're not trying to go win 10, 11 games. They're not. They're either trying to go to the bottom or they're hopeful that they have a young player, Desmond Ridder in the case of Atlanta, who can turn into something. They don't think Marcus Mariota is going to turn into anything. That ship sailed.
They know what he is.
That ship sailed, man.
Yeah. So the process is going to have to play out. And I know people want resolution sooner rather than later, but, I think the Browns are in a position to let it play out and see what happens here.
They can be very, very patient.
Yeah, they can.
Very, very patient with this. So to me, that's the big takeaway from that this morning. You were out there. Anything else jump out?
Cade York.
So I saw this. He nailed a 60-yarder. Is that the real truth?
Can I interest you in a little bit of that? Can I interest you in the special teams period going 7 for 8, including a 60-yarder?
Yeah, that's good.
That was good from more than 60.
Okay. So now, yes, you can. I am interested in that. I'm very much interested in that.
And the way the ball comes off of this kid's foot,
yeah,
like everybody, you turn and you go, what made that noise or who made that noise? He can crush the ball. There is no question. And like the last kick, which was the 60-yarder, basically, everybody's yelling and screaming and trying to get him thrown off. Crushed it, and I mean, boomed it. Brad Mellon underneath the field goal post was today's referee. Good, and good by I would say probably closer to 65 yards.
Okay, well that's exciting. It's good to have that. We haven't had a guy like that for a while.
Going right into the north. Just a really good job. Defensively, I felt like the defense kind of owned the day a little bit. They did some fourth down. They had a fourth down period. Defense made some plays, had a couple picks. The defense has a lot of confidence right now. And after practice, I taped something for your favorite podcast and mine.
Yeah.
The best podcast available.
Sure you did.
And it was interesting. I had Jacob Phillips and Jordan Elliott.
Okay.
2 third-year guys, a lot being counted on from those two. And a lot expected. And Jacob Phillips said something about the linebacker unit setting the tone for the defense. And Jordan Elliott said, wrong. D-line sets the tone. And he's a very large man, and I was not going to go down that road and get in the middle of it. But you can tell there's a lot of fire from this defense, and they played really well today. Again, you're not tackling. It's not a lot of contact, but the defense is making plays early on here.
No Miles, no Clowney today, right?
Correct.
They were both absent. So, that allowed for some other guys to step up. But I do think, to Jordan Elliott and Jacob Phillips' point, this is a complete defense. It's really good up front. It's elite at defensive end, obviously. It's really good at linebacker. It's really good in the secondary. So it really has everything that you need to be very, very successful in today's NFL. It has an ability to get after the quarterback at an elite level, create pressure. Both JOK, not just from the front four, but both JOK and Grant Delpit are among the best in the league at blitzing. I thought I read this morning upwards of 50% of their blitzes resulted in pressures on the quarterback. That's a remarkable number and something that I'm sure will be dialed up even more this year in this defense because, and this goes back to another question I had for Anthony Schwartz, it goes back to the point of you have Denzel, who is elite, Greg Newsome, who is about to be elite, and you have Greedy Williams healthy, which is something we have not had. If those 3 guys can stay healthy, you have 3 elite corners to go with elite guys on the back end. We saw John Johnson with another interception today. It's got a potential to be pretty special. It really does. You can understand why they're confident.
Yeah, and as a secondary, you can play a little more press. You can play up on guys when you know you've got some of the best pass rushers in the game on the D-line. As the defensive line, you know that if it takes you a little bit longer to get to the QB, so be it, because you've got lockdowns behind you. And the linebackers are just free and fast to make plays. Like Jacob Phillips has had a fantastic OTAs 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But JOK's been all over. Like the speed at the linebacker position stands out as much as anything.
Yeah, it does. It's they're rangy. They get after it. They're really instinctual ballers. Phillips could be a really interesting one because we haven't seen him because of injury for the last couple of seasons. We haven't seen enough of him. What we've seen of him is awfully impressive. You just don't see enough of it.
Exactly.
In terms of offensively, everybody there, Gibby, that we'd expect to be there at receiver.
Batonio was not there, but
Okay.
he hasn't been here most of the offseason.
That's
all
all
right.
right. What do you need? You know who he is. He's an all-pro.
Exactly.
Don't
He'll
need to
be
worry
here
about
next
that.
week.
Yeah.
Mandatory minicamp. He was not out there today. Matter of fact, I did not actually see Greedy, so I wonder if he got a vet day off based on, just, again, a guy that's had a lot of injuries in the past.
Yeah.
So he was not out there. I'm trying to think who else. There were a couple other guys, but no one – I don't want to say of consequence because that's not right.
No.
But, there were a couple guys. Again, it's voluntary.
Yeah, it's voluntary at this point. Did you? And how did Watson look? How did we look slinging it around?
Not bad. There wasn't a lot of stretch in the field.
Yeah.
I think the defensive interception came off of Brissett. Conklin was not out there. Njoku not out there. Other than that, from an offensive standpoint, that was it. Everybody else was out there. So there was a lot of interior work today. So we have one more OTA tomorrow, and then 3 days of mandatory minicamp next week with everybody. So, and we already know Tuesday's going to be probably pretty intense. I would think Thursday at the stadium probably will be intense because Wednesday is going to be a lot lighter because they're going to be at the Hall of Fame, and I think it's more of a walkthrough than anything else.
Yeah. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of taking the team down to the Hall of Fame and seeing what that's all about and kind of get a little better handle on the history of the sport and of the team and franchise and all of that.
So I set myself up in front of the offensive line and Bill Callahan today.
Oh, that's fun.
Fun for me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fun for the offensive lineman. He is a professor and a tactician. Like, he can break the moment the play happens, it's done in probably 2.5 seconds, and he's like, "You did this right, you did this wrong. Get better."
Well, that's it.
I'm cleaning up the language a little bit, but I think it's amazing to watch him in action.
I think it's amazing the turnout that we've had because we've done more OTAs than most teams. For example, like the Bengals have nothing mandatory. But we've done a lot of OTAs, the maximum, and then we're doing the mandatory as well. And we've had great numbers throughout this. It's been a month of this, and we've had really good numbers.
You're right around 75, 80 guys out of the 90. You can't ask for anything more. And I remember us talking about it last year. We made the decision along with the players and J.C. Treader at the time that we were going to continue to be virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it. Like, the Chiefs had 100% participation. Like, there were other teams that were bringing all their guys in, and all of their guys were showing up. And that was the case. It's been the case. I just talked to Jordan Elliott. I said, what are you going to do once mandatory minicamp's over? Are you going to get a little vacay? Going to get away? No. Everything I need is here. I can work out. I can do my thing and stay in shape. And a lot of guys seem to be very focused, and a lot of guys I get this strong impression of have stuck around here this offseason putting in the work. That's a good thing for this football team.
Yeah, I think that's it. But I think you see a very hungry football team, so one that can't wait. And by the way, it'll be here before you know it. I mean, you're gonna be at camp in a blink of an eye, man. What are we, 7 weeks from camp? Yeah. It's nothing. We're going to be at camp in a matter of no time. All right, coming up next, Coach Stefanski was at the podium. We will have that for you. That is coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, your business is shopping for an enterprise operating systems partner, but you don't know where to start. Well, I have an idea, and it's at my friends at EOX Vantage. They're data scientists, also business ops experts. Your VOX Vantage team not only builds and installs your system, they act as your ongoing technical support. So you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage is not tied to any single brand of hardware or software. You're getting a truly customized, purpose-built solution along with a partner that answers only to you. And EOX Vantage does not outsource. All the operational expertise, proprietary solutions, and tech support come from one unified partner. See how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. We did get this official. The Denver Broncos now going to be sold to the Walton family. Rob Walton going to be
we had this yesterday.
Yeah. So that's now a done deal at $4.6 billion with the B on that. That's a pretty good return on the investment for the family there in Denver, so that works out pretty well.
Could have been a good investment for
my guy John Elway. Did not do well with that one. I have not heard if Peyton Manning is going to be in the mix. I saw Ben Albright reporting this morning that all of the prospective suitors that were trying to purchase the Broncos, every one of them had reached out to him to be a part of it. It's just a matter of he will or not. And I was reading somewhere this morning that the Manning cast could be a sticking point of he really likes doing that, and could he do that if he was an owner?
I don't think he can.
Probably not. With being a partial owner in Denver, the Walton family, Walmart heirs, or significant others of Walmart heirs, now own every professional sports team in Denver. Because Stan Kroenke's there, so he married Walton, Sam Walton's daughter, the founder of Walmart, which is I think Rob's sister, if I have the family tree right. So they own the Avalanche. They own Avalanche, Nuggets, the MLS team. Pretty much all of the professional sports teams in the area are there. Yeah, I mean, they got the Rapids, the Nuggets, the Broncos, the Avalanche. The only thing they're missing are the Rockies. So we will see if they sell the Rockies, they could be in the mix for that too. And of course, Stan Kroenke owns the Rams as well. So there you go, $4.6 billion with a B. I think everybody thinks the next one would be Washington. It seems to make the most sense for everybody that would. Dan Snyder's shown no interest in wanting to do that, but that seems to be the most logical step going forward. There were 4 bidders on this, and the guy who reportedly the guy who is a majority owner of the Philadelphia 76ers was willing to go to $5 billion on this, but the NFL, I said this morning on Pro Football Talk, the NFL would not say if you go to 5, we won't let the Walton bid match. The Walton bid was going to match whatever it was. Like they were getting the Denver Broncos. So that guy, the name escapes me, but he will now be in line for the next team that becomes available in the NFL and willing to pay $5 billion for it.
I mean, it does make you wonder whatever ends up happening with this Washington football team situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one we're waiting on, right?
The Denver franchise is a very popular one, and but Washington is Washington. Big TV market, big market team.
All you got to do there is whoever that is, if that happens, whoever buys that team, you want to be ingratiated. First of all, the fan base there would be thrilled at any sort of result that has Dan Snyder not on the team. So that start there. So the next thing is, as soon as that happens, you then bail on this rebrand, this Commanders nonsense. You go to Red Hogs, Red Tails, Red Wolves,
or just leave it the
like
Washington
that,
football team,
whatever. But I mean, the others are so simple. I mean, there is a million iconic images of Joe Gibbs wearing that Script R hat. Put that on the helmet, leave everything else the same, and all you got to do is build a stadium and you're set. That's it. Whether that's in Virginia, I mean, my hope is it would be in the D.C. area, but we'll see.
I think we talked about it last week that their stadium that they're proposing would only be like a 50,000, 55,000 seat stadium, and why not?
More will go there. That's going to be the future of sports stadiums. You're going to want to have domes or retractable, and you want to be smaller rather than larger.
Well, I mean, I go back to a couple of years ago when we went to L.A. to play the Chargers. And we played
in the soccer stadium?
Yeah, we played at that soccer stadium. There were only 30,000, 35,000.
Sure.
It was pretty awesome. Like, you could hear everything. You could see everything. You could charge a premium price for something like that.
Well, you have to like, we're very lucky here in how great our fan base is, but not every place is this lucky, where you have a never-ending supply of demand. You know, I mean, that's the big thing that's in play. So that's the thing that you want to try to create. So, I mean, the Bears, I think they're around 60 at the new Soldier Field, and now they're going to do another one. Who knows what they do with that? But when they move out to the suburbs or they go bigger, I don't know.
By the way, the Bears are doing a little employee series behind the scenes of the people that make the Bears tick.
I don't even want to give it the attention.
Do you have any idea who they featured?
I do, because I was on the same text chain you were. So, yes, I do. Simone, outrageous.
I
man,
almost
come
want
on.
to tweet at the Bears and
What
go,
are you doing?
beware the seafood towers.
Well, I'm going to text.
And the fact that what you think is paid for sometimes is not.
Well, that's right, yeah. My buddy Adam Woodman's over there with the Bears.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's
I
gonna
think a little expose into this.
I'm going to say you're doing this wrong. This is not a human that you want to highlight in any way, shape, or form. In any way.
Much love to you, Simone.
That's right. All right, here was Coach Stefanski with the media after today's OTA availability.
Okay, good to see everybody.
You're done.
Here, I think you saw us get some third down and long work. Got some short yardage work. So all of it's been good. A lot of work down in the red zone as well. So really good day today. We got to finish off the week strong with our work tomorrow. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, you said that you were comfortable with Deshaun as a person after looking into the allegations that have been made against him. Do you still stand by that as the more information has come out since then?
Yeah, I understand, Jake, the question. I think for me, I'm going to be respectful of the investigation, of the legal proceedings. I'm going to let that play out.
The 24th civil lawsuit that was filed, Watson's own attorney said they had no knowledge of this woman. Was that an allegation you guys, or an alleged incident you guys were aware that might have happened or alleged to have happened?
Yeah, again, I can't add much. I'm going to let both the investigation and the legal proceedings play out.
Do you think the investigators should look into more stuff that you guys contracted to look into these situations?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked through that at the time, Jake, and I'll stand by what we said.
Is his standing with the Browns affected at all? I mean, you can answer to what the Browns' stance is. Is he still, your franchise quarterback? Any trepidation? Or is he still on solid ground with you guys?
Yeah, I think, Nate, we're here making sure that we get good practice in. The guys did a nice job out there today. I'm not going to comment past that. But, I think we got to be respectful of the process, be respectful of the legal proceedings.
The scope of this is expanded, though. It's gone from, in the 20s, we're talking about allegedly 66 women now. Was the team aware that the scope potentially could be as big as it has become?
I understand why you have to ask that, Darryl, but I'm just going to be respectful of the process and let it play out.
Can you say if this has been more difficult for you or the organization because it's still an issue seemingly every day, every week?
Yeah, honestly, Scott, what you try to do here as coaches, players, is you focus on the work that you have when you walk in the door and really the stuff that's on the outside, we let that take care of itself.
Kevin, along those lines, though, are you prepared to have this hover over the team for potentially a season or two?
I think, Tom, with anything, we're trying to just focus on the day. I can't see past today, truly, so that's kind of where my focus is.
Along that line, though, since you don't know how long he might be suspended, Kevin, is Jacoby Brissett getting enough work that he could be your starter on opening day?
I think we're repping the quarterbacks appropriately right now, Jeff. As more information comes available, you may modify and adapt what you do, but for now, we're just making sure those guys are getting the work that they need.
If you know, when you come back to training camp, and you know a decision is made by the NFL, will that change your plans for training camp preparation?
I think it's a good question, Tony. I don't want to speculate, but obviously, if there's different information, we'll adjust to how we're doing things, yes.
Under the other quarterback, we've been informed that Baker is excused from minicamp.
Mm-hmm.
Right decision? Did you have any interaction with him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a decision made between our organization, Baker, and Baker's team. Felt like that was the best decision for both sides.
What has your communication with him been like throughout this process? I know you and Andrew Berry have been very consistent in your messaging that it's very fluid, but just what has your communication been with Baker and then obviously reaching the ultimate decision to have him without penalty be able to just stay at home?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into my communication with the players, but just felt like that was the best decision for the organization and for Baker.
Kind of when you watch Deshaun out here, what do you see in terms of his demeanor, his focus? Do you feel like he's completely locked in despite all the things swirling around?
I think for everybody, Mary Kay, you come to work and you got to work, and you have to make sure that you focus on your job and focus on the job that you have to do out there with the players. I think that's what he's doing.
It's the first time we saw Cade York's impressive play. What did you think of him out there today?
Yeah, did a nice job today, Tony. He's done a nice job to date. He really has, both in the team settings. When they go down as a battery down there to First Energy, they've done a nice job. So he's just got to continue to grow and continue to get better.
Kevin, if Watson did get suspended, would there be any possibility at all that you would consider Baker a quarterback moving forward?
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on those type of things, Jake, but we're just going to deal with it day to day.
Kevin, is it frustrating at all? Like, we have to ask you these Deshaun Watson questions as part of our job week after week. The HBO show, lawsuit number 23, and now the most recent lawsuit, and New York Times story. 3 weeks in a row preceding our open OTAs. Is it frustrating on your end to face these questions repeatedly when the owners haven't talked and Deshaun hasn't talked since his introductory news conference?
No, I wouldn't characterize it that way, and I do understand that you have a job to do, so just going to provide as much information as I can when I can.
At this stage of the wind-up of the OTAs, are things more complicated for players at this point?
From a schematic standpoint? Yeah, they should be. Yes, we're adding more every single day and challenging them every single day on purpose. We're putting a lot on their plates, so you'll see it. Particularly the young guys will blow a fuse every once in a while, but we're challenging them. That's part of the off-season program. Part of what you should be doing in June is challenging your guys mentally.
I want to go back to your plans for minicamp, to go to camp. Is that something you wanted to do for the past 2 years, 3 years that you haven't been able to, or what prompted taking the whole camp? Seeing rookies go there, but the orientation, never a full team.
Definitely, over the last couple of years, have had different ideas on but we've been restricted. Just felt like this was the right time to get down there. We'll have our whole team here. Let's take everybody down there. So we have a nice program planned. I'll share more with you guys later on that. But I just think we're very, very fortunate here at the Cleveland Browns to have the Pro Football Hall of Fame right down the road. Not everybody has that, so we'd be foolish not to take advantage of it.
Did you hear some reaction from the players on that?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear some reaction from the players on that idea?
Not yet, Marla. We'll explain what we're doing down there. I think they like field trips, change of pace, so I'm sure they're excited.
As you put the wrap on OTAs this week, are you satisfied with the progress? Do you feel like as a team that you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish, or do you enter the mini camp phase here needing to squeeze something in that you wanted to?
So the way we look at the OTAs and minicamp, it's really just one big phase. You don't really change gears from OTAs to minicamp. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit different setting. So we'll be here on Tuesday, down in Canton on Wednesday, at the stadium on Thursday. So that will change. But by and large, we look at this off-season program as one big program, if you will. So we have work to do. There's a bunch of other stuff that we want to get installed to the players, get a rep on, bank some reps. So we have work to do. I think the players would tell you that they're getting better, but we're very, very far away. We got to continue to grind on it.
Do you feel like this is a team that has learned to deal with adversity since you showed up here on the doorstep? There's been COVID, there was the Odell saga last year, Baker, Deshaun. Do you feel like this is a resilient team that can handle this sort of thing?
I feel like that's really, Mary Kay, the NFL. You're going to go through things that you can't predict, and that's week in and week out. It's year in and year out, and we know that. So I think that is part of being a good football team, is being a resilient team and being able to, when you're down in the third quarter, go turn the game around. And when certain things come your way, injuries come your way, I do think you have to be a resilient bunch. I think you see examples of that across sports, really, even going into watching some of the NBA finals and seeing teams get behind and you got to go on a run and those type of things. So it's definitely part of a winning formula is being a resilient bunch.
What differences have you seen in Anthony Schwartz this year, and just how much do you need him to make a big step?
Yeah, I've been really, really pleased with Anthony's development. He works hard. He's a dependable player. I think he's getting really good work in with the quarterbacks. But I do see Anthony taking a step. I've seen him take a step, I should say, from a young guy who we know was always smart, but comfortable in what he's doing, catching the football really well. So really excited about his development.
When your defense makes a play, everybody knows it. Just the energy that you've seen on that side of the ball, led by JJ3. I think this is the second or third week in a row where he's gotten a pick, and just what have you seen from that
yeah,
group?
it's outstanding. You got to play defensive football with passion, and I think those guys do it. And we always talk about, one of the rules of being a great teammate is celebrating with your teammates. So when a big play happens, we want to celebrate together. So that's something that you start on the practice field here, and hopefully take it into the fall.
Another bigger question, real quick, if you don't mind. When Baker asked to be traded, he gave a quote to ESPN where he said that he feels that the relationship is beyond repair. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that, Mary Kay. Just going to make sure that I deal with everything that we're, dealing with football, anything that's outside the building. Just deal with it day to day.
Last one here.
This has to be an interesting situation with the Deshaun Watson stuff. I'm curious how you deal with that adversity and dealing with other players, because it's putting them in interesting situations because we have a job to do. We have to talk to them, and that's something they probably never dealt with as well.
Yeah, I understand the question. I think part of my job, and certainly our players' job, is to answer tough questions, and we want to be respectful of that process, and want to make sure we can add what we can add when we can. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, there's Coach Stefanski from his post-OTA press conference next week, a full round of mandatory minicamp as they wrap up this long off-season program, which has been incredibly well-attended, Gibbe.
It's been well-attended, and, Coach, unfortunately, he's put in the middle of answering a lot of tough questions right now. And his goal is to have this team ready to play week 1 in Carolina. And so far, the off-season program has gone exceptionally well. And, I want to hear more about it, but
both sides of it. I understand why the questions are being asked. I understand 100%. Why he's answering the way that he's answering. Like, there's not much more that he can say on this. So that's,
things have to get asked.
I get it. It's it's the same way for both. It's just that, there's no way to do it. I mean, you're in the middle of legal proceedings. The criminal stuff is done, and so this is civil litigation that will take place over a long period of time. So until there's some clarification from either the league or from the courts on that, this is the way that it's going to be.
Yeah.
So you can't respond to every report that's out there, and that's the circumstance you're in. So it leads to that, and it's going to be that way until there's some sort of resolution.
Again, the one thing that it has been a very good off-season program for the Browns from a workout standpoint and getting ready for the season. And I think maybe that gets overshadowed a little bit, but the participation has been high. We've talked about it. The quality of work that they're getting in, the workouts, you're seeing a lot of guys stepping up and making plays. There's some really good competition going on at some of these positions. Understand the situation, but, it is right now what it is. And he's trying to get this team ready to go for the 2022 season.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he can do. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll be part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Coming up here in the second hour of the program, you'll hear from John Johnson III, another interception from him. Peter King with the 22 most influential people in the NFL this season as well. It's all coming up here in the final hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Cleveland.
So at long last, today is the last day of school for the boys. They're finally done. They wrap it up.
I would say congratulations on all your successes, but I'm not sure because now they're going to be home with you.
Well, my wife's excited about it. It's a short. It's like they're only home like 8 weeks because they're back in the middle of August. So, I mean, it's a short summer for them. We had a hell of a moment. So the boys have these things that their grandmother got them. They're called Tony boxes. Do you know what this is? You heard of a Tony box?
No.
So it's a red box that's a speaker that when you put a figurine on it, it'll play the story, the songs of whatever. Okay, so
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So Disney, it's Disney, so that that goes. They didn't get all the stuff they have by not being profitable and being smart. So
you took out a second mortgage to get it, or your mother-in-law?
My mother-in-law did.
Yeah.
So okay, fine. So they've had it for a while. Bootsy loves it. It basically serves as a noise machine to go to sleep to. So the box is, I don't know, probably about twice the size of a Kleenex box, and then you put like a figurine on it. So like, for example, Baloo the bear from Jungle Book, and all of a sudden away we go. We're into Jungle Book. So we got the songs from the Jungle Book, and they're playing. And by the way, they have the best songs of all the Disney movies. That Moana is another highlight. Lion King, those are good. But apparently, young Bootsy wanted one, and has wanted one for a very long time, and it's Lightning McQueen. Okay, so he wanted Cars.
Little Cars,
McQueen,
okay.
Wanted that. He actually went as Lightning McQueen for Halloween a couple of years ago. So this is his favorite. So he was waiting on this. So apparently, unbeknownst to me, my wife has been on some sort of Lightning McQueen Tony box wait list for like a year. So this was a coveted thing that arrived yesterday, okay? So he gets it. Everyone's excited. I don't understand what the excitement's about. It just feels like, I don't know, he's got 32 of them. What's 33? What's the difference? But apparently this has been a coveted one. So it comes time to bedtime last night. Mass chaos in the house. Nobody wants to go to bed because it's the last day, so why do they even have to sleep? Little do they know that that's my time. That's Daddy's time. Need a little bit of my time.
Daddy needs a cocktail. It's a first Friday Eve.
That's it. That's right. That's right. We need a little bit of silence.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we need to do. I don't want to have to explain the bar scene in Top Gun again to my 10-year-old. So, that's it. It's bedtime. So, mass panic because we can't find the Lightning McQueen Tony guy. Can't find it. Bootsy's running around. He's in panic. It's like their bedtime's 8:30. It's approaching 9 o'clock. So I'm like, look, I'm done with this. Like, I'm sorry. It'll turn up. It's not lost forever. It's lost for now. It'll turn up, though, and we'll figure it out when it does, okay?
He goes to bed sobbing.
Oh, of course. He's throwing a fit. My wife is as frustrated with him as I've ever seen her. Like, she is on the end of the last rope, the last strand of frustration with him, and is so mad because apparently she gave it to him to take to his room, and he did not do it, and so it's gone. So this morning, she gets him to school, and I come out of my office, and I go, "Oh, what's this?" And she's like, "It's the Lightning McQueen Tony box." I said, "Oh," I said, well, "Where'd you find it?" It was in the cleaning closet. I said, "Wait a second. You're telling me you lost it? You lost it?
Not him.
Not him? You did it?" To which point, she was not even going to have me pointing this out. Like, has no patience for even pointing this out. I said, "I'm going to tell you something. You need to re-hide this somewhere where it makes it seem like he did lose it. Because if not, you're never living this down. After the performance from last night, you're never living this down.
No.
It's more important that you're right in the eyes of him than in the eyes of the Lord right now. You take the L in the eyes of the Lord. You lie to the child. You cannot have this on your record. You cannot." No. That was my piece of advice. I'm more diabolical than she is. But we'll see what she does. But that's what happened with the Tony box.
So how did it happen? Because
who knows? I don't know.
Didn't she give it to him?
She did. My guess is he put it down somewhere.
And she grabbed it.
She grabbed it and then went to, get toilet paper or, I don't know, paper towels, something. Went in there to do that.
She was frazzled because
she was
of
frazzled, put it down, and that's where it ended up staying. But I said, listen, in the eyes of him, this has to be his mistake, not yours.
And just a memo to the missus. Big fans of the missus.
Yeah.
It wasn't even day one of summer vacation yet.
No, she's not even into it yet.
You're not even there yet.
No, she hasn't
Tomorrow
even
is essentially the first day.
She hasn't even fought like the fights that are going to happen over the Xbox or the fights that are going to happen over basketball. I mean, all that's
the pool
still to come.
wars
Pool fights. I
and-
mean, it's
yeah.
my buddies, your buddies. It's all coming. I mean, we're not even there yet. This is just a Tony Bucks. Anyway, so that was last night. In terms of this afternoon, another OTA in the books this morning. John Johnson was available afterwards. Here is, by the way, another interception for JJ3. Here he is after the practice.
It's been a while.
You're done.
How you doing? Good. Every time we look up, you're intercepting Watson.
I mean, I'm just having fun, competing. Like I said, from last year,
This is 7 minutes, 40 seconds.
I'm in the system, so I'm just having fun, trying to push everybody around me to just be better and having fun.
There was a question last year when you started, like, where were you located in Woods' defense? And then it seemed like at some point it went back to where you were more comfortable. Does this pick up where you left off, like where you're playing in the defense?
I think so. You know, it's still early. We're still installing stuff. Just trying to become masters at, what we really do, like our bread and butter stuff. That's really what, OTA is about. We have thrown like a few wrinkles in there, but I think like when it comes down to game planning and stuff, that's when, we can get a little versatile, start moving things around. But right now it's just trying to be masters at, what we really do.
Off of that, John, Joe Woods told us last week he's going to start putting more stuff on your guys' plate this year. Have you felt that even this early?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just like the stuff that we wanted to do last year that we kind of, had mistakes and, blown coverages, the harder stuff to master, that's what we're working on. The simple stuff is easy. We've been doing that since day one last year. Well, at least I have. And guys before me, have been doing it for 3 years now. So just the stuff that we had trouble with last year, we are trying to master the more complex stuff.
The club informed us today that Baker Mayfield has been excused from minicamp. Is the team mentally separated from him as a quarterback? Or he's still under contract?
Mentally separated. I mean, obviously, you look at the roster, he's still there. He's not, present here. But, I think, it's just a business. I think we all understand that now more than ever. We got 3 quarterbacks here now. So it's kind of leaning towards him not being here. So I wouldn't say we, mentally separated, but we are kind of, prepared for him to not be here.
Not just with, Baker, but just everything that's going on with Deshaun. It seems just every day there's another headline related to Deshaun. And I respect that you guys, as Miles put it, mind your own business, so to speak. But just how difficult is it for you as teammates and as human beings to keep a narrow football-minded focus with everything that just is kind of like swirling around?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Anytime you have something going on, away from the building, off the field, you never want that to leak into the building. Once we cross these lines on the field, once we step into this building, it's Browns football and it's work. So, like I said, deaths in the family, any off the field issues, you never want to see a guy going through something, but we have to bring him in as a teammate, and we're just going to keep pushing. Once we step in the building, we're in the building.
Hey, this is a really good team. Are you worried at all that something like this could really interrupt what looks like on paper and what we saw in there, especially defensively at the end of the last season, could be a great year?
In a perfect world, we wish that it wasn't here, but I don't think it's anything that could get in the way. It's a speed bump. It's not really like a barrier that blocks us from where we want to get. I think it's a speed bump, so once we get over it and we hit full steam ahead, we'll be fine.
How do you think Deshaun has been handling everything? He's had a lot going on, just even in the last 2 weeks, but from your perspective, and maybe you've gotten to be good friends with him already, I'm not sure, but how has he been handling all this?
I feel like just by the nature of the game, offense and defense is kind of split up. But, in the locker room, I'm around him in the sauna, I'm around him. We talk, we chop it up about, everything. I don't think it's really getting in the way. I mean, like I said, I think he's a professional. Once he comes to work, it's about work. It's about building relationships with his teammates. As you've seen, he took the guys on the trip. I think he had something else planned. Just building bonds, building relationships. So I think, he's done a great job of just being a true professional, and hopefully it all clears up soon. But as of now, he's going to keep working.
You had a lot of close games last year, and missed kicks play a role. What do you think about your new kicker?
Oh, he's unbelievable. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, like the ball just flies off his foot. It could be a 30-yard kick. He's going to hit it for 60. It flies through the uprights, accurate. He's young, so I think that helps sometimes. He doesn't really know the pressure and the magnitude. He's just out there having fun. He's a rookie. he's just doing what he loves doing. So he's just doing what he loves doing. So I think that's the beauty of it. But I'm really looking forward to the season and seeing him kick.
Even sound different?
What was that?
His ball even sound different?
Oh yeah, it sounds different. Like I said, it flies off his foot. He just got a big leg. Even when we did kickoff the other day, like he's kicking it out the end zone. You know, our kickoff team, they want to cover, so we might have to tell them cut it down a little bit. But I just can't wait to watch him.
So when you were watching the postseason last year, and you saw the kicker for Cincinnati having such perfect,
right?
Did you think of like, man, we need one of those?
He was a rookie last year, right? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like he was out there having fun. He was one of those guys talking trash, you know, running around. So I think that's an extra factor to the game. You know, having a guy that doesn't really understand, you know, what he's just going out there having fun, no pressure, free as a bird, and having fun. So it was awesome to see that, you know, from Cincinnati. I don't want to see them do it against us, and I think that will be us this year. But it's all good.
I know it's OTAs, but speaking of being, you know, making plays and having fun. You're making a lot of plays and having a lot of fun out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you guys make a play, everybody knows you made a play.
Oh yeah.
I mean that respect. You know, it is fun to watch. But just how can that energy that you guys are building in these practices, even though you're not full speed, and you're not tackling, and you're not live, how can that really translate going into the season?
Oh yeah, that's one of our pillars on defense. Celebrate success. You know, if a guy has success, you should be sprinting to him. You should want to be the first guy, you know, to help him up off the ground, go celebrate with him. And so the fun is in winning. And, you know, when you're making plays, that's all it's about. But I just think, you know, the energy and mainly the confidence, especially like in the defensive back room, confidence is half the battle. So we're going out there, know what we're doing, know that we're going to dominate. I think it's just going to translate throughout the season, throughout camp, and throughout the season.
What are you seeing in the secondary, just in terms of, you know, the young guys that have been added and Greg stepping up? What do you think the outlook is for you guys?
I like the continuity. You know, we lost Troy, but besides that, you know, I think it's pretty much got everyone back. You know, our core group of guys, and like you said, Greg stepping in. I think that'll help out. You know, not just Greg. You know, Denzel's been taking nickel reps. I just think that'll help. You know, the versatility between our whole room. I think, you know, Ronnie, Grant, they might end up playing nickel as well, dime position. So the more you can do, you know, the more you can do in this league, the longer you're going to last. So I think the continuity is the biggest thing for us. We're all meshing well with each other.
Are you more of the deep safety now, pretty much full time?
We'll see. But, you know, I think I'm most comfortable back there. I think I can make the most plays back there, so why not be back there and just have fun with it, keep getting better at it each day.
Hey, John, did you know Deshaun before he got here?
I had bumped into him a few times, but I didn't really, just casual, just, hey, what's going on? I not even introduced myself. I mean, I don't know if he knew who I was. I obviously knew who he was, but yeah, just a few times. No relationship, though.
So along the lines of what Jimmy asked you, do you think this team's prepared to have this potentially, like, hover over this season and beyond? Can it handle that?
I think so. You know, the thing going into the offseason was, you know, get a backup quarterback when Case Keenum departed. I think Jacoby Brissett, he's been a starter on teams, and even as a backup, when the starter went down, he stepped right in and, you know, did a pretty good job. So I think we're prepared on paper for it. You know, we've got to see throughout training camp, keep competing with each other, make each other better. So all three of those guys can end up stepping up and playing a role. Josh Dobbs, you know, we're going to push him on defense. I know we are. But I think anybody will be ready to do it. But we want 4 back there, but I think we'll be ready.
You're up.
Boy, he's looked great. He's looked great. It feels like it's an interception about every week. So he's been another one picked up today. He's been great. And he really, as the season went on last year, you really started to see how special he could be. And I think you're going to see more of that this
That's
year.
Exactly where I was going. Some things changed. The way he was being used and moving him around a little bit changed halfway through the season. And he has taken off from there. And it'll be interesting because you know, Anthony Walker Jr. has been the green dot guy. You know, the guy that's got the headphone and the connection to the sideline. But there was a time last year where JJ3 had it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, you know, I know that some of the young guys have been pushing for playing time. I wonder if JJ3 ends up with that defensive signal caller.
He
role
wore it
again
in
this
L.A.
year.
when he was at the Rams. He had it. So, yeah, I mean, he certainly is used to it. Coming up a little bit later on, Peter King's 22 most influential people in the NFL for this season. Coming up next, we go around the sports world, including Patrick Mahomes with an interesting business opportunity in Kansas City. And C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, is driving what? We will get to that story as well. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business is shopping for an enterprise operating systems partner, but you don't know where to start. I can help you. Go see my friends at EOX Vantage. They're data scientists and business operation experts all in one. Your EOX Vantage team not only builds and installs your system, they act as your ongoing tech support, so you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage is not tied to any single brand of hardware or software. You're getting a truly customized, purpose-built solution, along with a partner that answers only to you. And EOX Vantage is not outsourced, so all the operational expertise, proprietary solutions, and tech support come from one unified partner. See how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. As we go
saw them at the golf
world.
outing the other day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're great. They're great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Really nice people.
Really good people. Yeah, absolutely so. I just got an email from Bootsy's teacher. It's the Kindergarten Memories slideshow. So that'll have me in a puddle of tears as soon as I watch it.
Yeah. There'll be some sappy music behind it.
Oh,
some
for
pictures.
sure.
It's the music that gets you more
music,
than the
for sure.
pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is they go from kindergarten to first grade or whatever. They do like a clap out thing. Here's the issue though. Like he's full day kindergarten, so it's not that much of a difference going from kindergarten to first. But
like we've got preschool graduation. We've got kindergarten graduation. We have fifth grade graduation.
Correct.
We have eighth grade graduation.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot
of them for sure.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of things in the sports world today. Get to the golf thing in a second. I know for a fact, if not on this show, absolutely on other things that I may do, I have said, without a doubt, it's not like quarterbacks are going to be driving around in Bentleys on campus until they are.
Until they are.
So this has happened. This has gotten so big, so quick. It is completely without any sort of guardrails. And so Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud is driving around a $150,000 Bentley SUV in Columbus. He's going to be the number one pick in the draft more than likely than not. And so now the quiet part is just being done that used to be done behind the scenes is now just being done above board. So it's a pretty remarkable thing. I mean, it's the same Bentley that Odell had. Do you remember the orange one that Odell had?
Oh,
here?
yeah.
It's that one. That's what he has. That's what he's driving around. Like, everybody thought NIL would be kids making money on autographs or appearances or selling jerseys. Nobody thought it would be $2 million for a quarterback. But that's what happened in a year. This thing's been around for a year. Name, image, and likeness has been around for a year.
Can we talk about, because I think you were on vacation. Well, you were on assignment. You were definitely not on vacation.
I was not on vacation,
no. Let me clarify that. Not
on
vacation. I don't think we talked about the Ryan Day comments to the city leaders.
Yeah.
And saying it's going to probably cost $13 million a year in NIL to keep this program at the level you want it to be.
Just one clarification. It's going to take $13 million for me to keep the team we currently have, not the team that I have to continue to recruit.
Yeah.
In order to keep these guys here, it's going to cost $13.1 million. It was a stunning thing that was said out loud. So that was a meeting of business leaders in Columbus that he met in front of at what I would describe as a DEFCON 2 situation. Like, hey, this is where we're at. I need this money now. Now, the juxtaposition of a guy making $9.5 million and an athletic department that makes $90 million a year just from television revenue is not lost on me, the awkwardness of him asking for more money. I understand that that's a weird thing, but that's where we are. Until they compensate and do a revenue share with the players in the revenue sports, this is where it's at. There is no other way to handle this. It will revert to the normal little. I don't think you'll see this type of money being thrown around 3 years from now, but this is nevertheless the way that it's going to be. And it was a big, big deal that the head coach at a place like Ohio State went on the record and said that. He was on the record knowingly, too, and the reason I know that is this story only came out because Doug Lesmerises, who we've had on the show, friend of the program, Doug Lesmerises was in attendance. You say, well, how is he in attendance? It's business meters. He registered Cleveland.com as a business, and he had a placard that said Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com.
Smart man.
So that, well, very. And that's how this all came about. There was a story today from James Franklin who was asked about the money, and he said, I can tell you it's a lot more than what's been reported. So that's how much money is flowing into that sport right now. It's a wild thing.
Now, I'm going to say this. It's interesting to me. We're hearing about it in college football, but we're not hearing about it in college basketball. And I feel like that could – I don't understand why I'm not seeing that as much.
there aren't that many schools that care that much about college hoops. We all love March Madness.
Sure.
But in terms of the programs, there are, in the SEC alone, every program except for Vanderbilt believes that they're entitled to like a national championship. You may laugh, but Arkansas thinks they're entitled to that. I promise you. Kentucky thinks, hey, right coach, what's stopping us? Missouri maybe not, but everybody else thinks they're entitled to it. The 2 Oklahoma schools, the Texas. In the Big Ten, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, Nebraska. Nebraska hasn't been in a bowl game since 2016. They still view themselves that way. Notre Dame, USC, Oregon. Think of the amount of schools in college football that think that the ACC, Clemson, Miami, Florida State, all those programs view themselves as being able to be to win national titles. In college basketball, it's like Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas.
UCLA?
Yeah,
Maybe?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's why. It's because there are so many more places view themselves as elite in football, and football is more important. Basketball, the only place you could say that it's absolutely more important is Duke, Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, Indiana. I mean, there's a few, but not much.
No.
Not much. So I think that's the reason.
I found it interesting because I like basketball players can command some cash. Maybe it's the one and done.
Well, it's hard to make that impact too. Kentucky's been doing one and done for over a decade in basketball. They've only won one national title.
Yeah.
Duke's been doing one and done almost exclusively for the last almost decade. They've got one in that time. So there's not a direct correlation to get a bunch of these players, go win a title.
Go win.
Like Anthony Edwards was at Georgia. Ben Simmons was at LSU. Cade Cunningham was at Oklahoma State. There isn't a direct correlation to get the best player, go win a national title. In college football, you get the best recruiting classes, you win national titles. And then what Ryan Day, and this is the part, this thing hasn't happened yet, not to the full throat of it, what it could be. What Ryan Day is saying with the $13.1 million is next year, this entire, let's say it actually could have happened this year. It didn't, but it could have. Let's say this year, C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Travion Henderson all put their names in the portal and said highest bidder. How much money is C.J. Stroud worth to Texas A&M, who has everything but a quarterback?
To
or
Texas,
Georgia,
who's trying to get
Texas,
back to relevancy.
All of those that have infinite money to spend. Jackson Smith and Jigba, what would he be worth on the free market? So that's the thing that he's warning against, and that hasn't happened yet. But that's where we're headed. That Jordan, the kid at Pitt, the one, the Biletnikoff, he put himself on the open market and got a deal at USC for over $3 million. He's a receiver.
And
he's not a quarterback.
That's what Saban was talking about. I know he ruffled feathers with some of the comments that he made, but
if he ruffled feathers, then the truth hurts.
Well, and if it drew a response from the state of Alabama to rally around him and his football program, so be it. But he knows, he sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a lot more money to make us competitive, and more importantly, to keep us competitive.
As long as they're married to the nonsense that they aren't employees. If they would just acknowledge their employees and give them a cut of it, then this goes away. And then guys like Saban and Ryan and all these guys could get control back, because then they could have salary caps and pay players based on their value, as opposed to right now that what Saban's complaining about is there's no control over it. The coaches control none of it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's tricky. Did you see that Pat Mahomes is taking a Whataburger to Kansas City?
No.
He's doing it. You've had Whataburger, right?
I have.
Yeah, they had one in Tallahassee when I was down there. I was unaware. I only ate it once when I was down there, and it was early on in my tenure, and I never really thought to go back to it. And it was before I realized that it had legendary status. I didn't realize until later the way that it was revered, especially in Texas. If there was one fast food that you could put here, what would it be that we don't have? It feels like we have almost everything other
What's
than
out in L.A.? Is that what?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out burger.
In-N-Out's L.A., yeah. And then Whataburger's like the Texas version of that. And then what's the one that we have now? We have one in Pinecrest, the burger joint from the Shake Shack.
Yeah.
We have those now. They do a nice job. There's one of those in the airport now.
Yeah, and the problem is with some of these burger joints, well, I love the burger. don't love the fries.
That's the
and
same
the
thing with
fries
In-N-Out.
are yeah, that's the In-N-Out problem.
Yeah, you
Like-
just I had the smartest a guy was last time I had In-N-Out. It's been a long time, but instead of doing the fries, he just did 2 double-doubles.
That's what I did.
And that's a win.
Actually, that is exactly
what you
what
did?
I did
Yeah.
in Vegas when we were taking the red eye home.
Yeah. Yeah, do the 2 double-doubles.
We stopped
You don't
before we
need-
dropped the car off at the In-N-Out. My buddy was like, I want an In-N-Out. I'm like, let's go.
Sold, yeah.
I walked in. I'm like, I don't want a combo. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, give me 2 burgers.
Yep,
Call
save
it a
the
day.
fries.
I'm going to sleep well on the flight home.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that play out of you. So the Live Tour, that was by the way, the RBS guys had a lot of fun with the Phil Mickelson question Q&A, which was comedy.
Oof.
Good job out of them.
Brutal.
I mean, by the way, these British reporters, like, they're not putting up with it.
There's no free pass.
No. One point, the guy asked him, what are you apologizing for? You know, like, what are you apologizing for? Then he lists the possible things he could be apologizing for. It was comedy. Obviously, they're all doing it for the money. I don't think they need to say it. I think we all know it, why they're doing it. It's transformational money. $200 million is hard to wrap your head around. And you can say, oh, I wouldn't do that because of this, this, and this. But the reality is, if it has the option to be checked into your checking account, most people would probably take the money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, even for people who have a lot, which is why I think it's remarkable Tiger said no to $900 million reportedly. That's unbelievable to me that he would do that when you're talking about that kind of money. So they've added players now for this June event in Portland. So you have DeChambeau, you have Patrick Reed. He's not any sort of thing. I think Justin Thomas was asked about it today at the RBC, and he said, look, these guys are – what do you want me to say? Like, I wish we didn't have to keep talking about it, but they're entitled to do whatever they want. I'm not going to like DJ any less because of this, and that's just the way that it goes. I do think – I'm surprised that the PGA Tour has not responded yet publicly. Nothing. I don't know if they're waiting for these guys to play a round, which I think will take place on Friday. I don't know if they're going to when they're going to do something on that, if they're going to hold to their lifetime bans. Phil Mickelson has a lifetime pass to the PGA Tour. Lifetime membership based on accomplishment. So are they going to revoke that? They going to take all that away? I have no idea. But this has the potential to splinter this sport, which isn't in the strongest place anyway, because they don't have any stars. So it's not great anyway.
9 former major champions playing on this tour now.
9?
9. You have Mickelson.
Hold on.
Okay.
Phil, DJ, Graham McDowell, Sergio. Are we saying DeChambeau even though hasn't played yet? Are you counting him?
No.
Or you're not counting him. Westwood never won a major. Keimer.
Oh, DeChambeau is counted. So's Reed. Sorry.
DeChambeau, Reed.
Keimer, yep.
All right, so I got to 7. Who am I missing?
Schwartzel.
Oh, Charles Schwartzel.
And Louis Oosthuizen.
Ah, yes, Louis. Okay, all right.
9 major champions. Like, nothing to slough off at.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet. I'm going to give him full credit. Anthony Lima.
Okay.
Tweeted out something this morning, I think. I liked it. I loved it, actually. If you're Firestone, why not try to get a tournament?
Yeah, so that goes to the question of, are you willing to do business with the Saudis?
Yeah.
And if you are, then yes. I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with the PGA Championship. Like, it's been forever since Ohio. I mean, it sucks that Northeast Ohio that Northern Ohio does not have a regular tour stop. Inverness, I heard, isn't Inverness on the U.S. Open at some point in the next decade?
Yes.
Or PGA? Like, it's going back there at some point. I've never been to Inverness. Is it what it's cracked up to be? Have you been there?
No. Okay, not great from what I've heard. Like, it's not something that you get done playing and just go, oh. 2027 U.S. Women's Open Championship.
Well, that's not what we're talking about.
The 2029 U.S. Amateur.
So it's not hosting a U.S. Open?
Not according
so
to
we
this.
are not. We do not have a single one on the schedule for Ohio.
No. Like, if I'm Firestone, I was robbed by the PGA Tour because they took your tournament and they gave it to Memphis because of Memphis and their being the home of FedEx.
Didn't they take it because of they took it because of money.
Yeah, FedEx.
Right.
FedEx is based out of Memphis.
Firestone didn't want to keep didn't want to keep sponsoring it, right? Wasn't that the deal? They had moved their corporate out, and so that was it. But that's the place to do it. If you're not going to play a major at Muirfield Village, and by the way, dude, the pushback I got, I don't know if you and I have talked about that.
No.
The pushback I got from important people when I said, hey, we ever think about holding a major here?
Won't be happening anytime soon.
No.
Is what you're telling me.
Not anytime soon. No. They would not at the risk of giving up the memorial. They will not give up the memorial.
If I'm a course like Firestone that's been stripped, even though I've done nothing wrong.
Well, you didn't do anything right either because you didn't have a sponsor to go into it. Like, they would have needed somebody to write the check to host it. Wasn't the deal they didn't have the sponsorship?
I don't think so. I think it was taken and given to Memphis because Memphis is the home of FedEx. It was moved out because the PGA was moving things around. I could be wrong on that, but I'm under the impression that because my nephew lives in Memphis and he belongs to that club.
No, you're 100% right in that they wanted to, because there was so much money in the FedEx Cup, they wanted to give something to Memphis. But I also think that it was also the way I remember it, it was also a situation where Firestone did not have sponsorship lined up to continue to host that thing.
And that it could be the case. But if I'm Firestone, why not make the call? Like, if you're not going to bring a tour stop to me anytime soon, with all due respect to the seniors or the Champions League or, the up-and-coming tour, I don't want any of those. I want the names. And if this is how I get the names back, well, it's the price of doing business, I guess. I think you make the call if you're Firestone.
I would not. Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's the same thing the players are doing. Like, do you want the association? That's it. And I think what you're seeing in the PGA is once one guy makes it and says, "Yeah, I'm okay with it," then others will follow.
It is. Going back to everything that we have said this week, it is surprising that after they met with the agents of all these golfers last week at the Memorial, that the PGA has not responded to one of these.
I just have to assume they're just waiting on them to actually play. I mean, they're available. They're playing the RBC up in Canada right now. They're available to talk. There's got to be a commissioner on hand who can speak to this.
I'd like to think so.
And say, this is where we stand on this. If they don't do the lifetime ban thing, I feel like you're just going to have more and more guys bleed off.
Yeah, because you're not paying.
No. This is salary positions now. Now you get paid whether you win or not. Just by showing up, you get paid. It's wild. Absolutely wild. My guys at Homage, by the way, dropped some brand new NFL Jam T-shirts, and ours is a good one. It's Miles and Nick.
Really?
Garrett Chubb. Yeah, it's strong. They did a good job with that. Very good job with that. It's a good one. All right, coming up next, Peter King's Football Morning in America, the 22 most influential people in the NFL for this season. It's coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're up when you're ready.
All my friends at Bath Authority give you that bathroom of your dreams, and you can transform your current bathroom into just that in about a day. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding, again, in about a day. Acrylic tubs, they insulate, keep the heat in. If you need to do a tub-to-shower conversion, they have that for you. Superior products with expert installers. If you give them a call right now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com, and they will take care of you on that front. Let's save the Peter King thing. We'll do that.
Sure.
We can do that tomorrow.
We got plenty of time. We got 2 more days.
We got 2 more days here, so that's fine. We'll do that at this point. Yeah, Fontana remembers it how I do, that Bridgestone bailed out, moved the corporate headquarters, and so that it was both. We're both right, I think, that the FedEx wanted one in Memphis, and they wanted that to be a bigger deal because they were paying for the FedEx Cup, but also that there wasn't a corporate sponsor ready for Firestone to have the event there. And it's really a shame that there's not another one, that we only have one in the state of Ohio. It was nice. They were kind of bookend. That one was in August. Memorial was at the end of May. Like, it was kind of nice.
It was always like a fantastic weekend. Like, there was almost too much because you had Hall of Fame weekend and the golf tournament.
Yeah, you had a preseason game. You had a Browns preseason game. You had the World Golf Championship event at Firestone, and then you had the Hall of Fame. So you had all of those things happening at once.
And it wasn't just a tour stop at Firestone. It was the WGC. You had to be in the top 50 to even be able to play. Like,
correct. Yeah. I've not been down there. I've not been down there to play. I got a lot of buddies who are members, but I've never been down there.
No, I have not. I played they have 2 courses.
I think
played
they have
the
3,
other.
don't they?
You're right. They have
North,
3.
South, West,
I played one of the other ones. I've not played the main one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry, I sucked at that one
too.
too.
Well, the ones everybody tells me that it's what's the South? Is that the one that's the tournament course?
I think so.
That you don't want any part of that unless you're like Zegura.
Long hit, long. Yeah. You got to hit
long
the ball
straight.
Long.
Yep. That's the way that goes on that front. But it's a shame because you have to. And by the way, Cincinnati's never hosted anything. I have to imagine there's good clubs in Cincinnati that haven't hosted anything, and they've never had anything. What is the steakhouse in Akron that everyone goes to? That tournament?
It's not Ruth Chris.
Ken Stewart?
Ken
no,
Stewart.
It's not Ken Stewart's.
No?
Ken Stewart's is great, but that's not it either. There's one that
you can find.
Yeah, there's one more that like Nance and all those guys would go to at the tournament. Love Ken Stewart's, both the lodge and the steakhouse. They both do a great job. But
Fleming's?
No. There's another one that it's independent. I'm going to get 1,000 tweets on this in a matter of seconds. On a completely other end of the culinary spectrum, did you see the Taco Bell that opened today in Minneapolis, Gibbe?
No. I'm a big fan of Taco Bell.
Google it, because I just want to say, just put new Taco Bell Minneapolis. I wanted live tell the people your response to taking a look at this thing.
High-tech drive-through.
4 lanes. So they took the restaurant and they elevated it. They have 4 lanes. You order on an app or on a touch screen. The food drops down like a tunnel, and you pick it up and drive off. How good is that?
Okay, first and foremost.
That's the future of fast food.
I literally had this conversation with my wife over the weekend.
Well,
we went and got Taco Bell for lunch.
That's incredible.
And we stopped in to pick it up. You know, I ordered it on the app, and then I went in. And I'm standing there. It wasn't ready yet. I got there a few minutes early. And I'm looking around at this restaurant with no one in it. And everything, like, you walk in, you order from you don't even talk to someone until they give you your food.
That's right.
I looked at my wife. I go, why is the store even open? Like, the drive-through line is around the block. Just make it all mobile, or put you could shrink the building. Like, you shrink the property and just have some stands, and they just bring it out to you. Like a little waiting area that holds like 9 or 10 people. And do your thing. This is ingenious.
No, it is.
It looks like
it's
really
like
a bank.
It's very, very good. Yeah. Diamond Grill is the place. Andrew and Philip reminding me, Diamond Grill in Canton or is in Akron is the place. I have not eaten there, and then Big tweets at us. Baker's in Canton is another place, but that would probably be more Hall of Fame. Type they would go down to there, but it's Diamond Grill is the one I was thinking of in Akron. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused your injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. There's probably it's Muirfield and it's Firestone. That's it in the state. Because the other great ones are, Columbus got 4 of the top 100 clubs in the world, but 3 of them are ultra private. They're not set up for stadium golf.
Well, and the other problem is, can you lengthen the holes?
They did that at Scioto. They did that down there. They lengthened that a little bit.
1
they
minute.
had a U.S. Senior Open there. Canterbury's had stuff in the past, but I don't know if they have. I've never been there. I don't know if they have the geography.
It's fantastic.
I'm sure.
It's very tough.
But do they have the geography there to make it bigger if it needed to be?
They have the ability to accommodate crowds, but from lengthening the course, I don't know.
30.
Yeah, could be. All right, we are back tomorrow. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly, everybody. The next level is coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.